Hello, I'm the Cognitive Gamer. I'm talking Hearthstone. I haven't talked about it in a while, and that's because, well, one, I've been busy, and two, the metagame has changed, or actually kind of come into itself quite a bit. There are some card changes. I know about, what was it, I guess a few weeks ago, Hunters were nerfed a little bit, and pretty much everybody stopped playing Hunters, and now everybody's playing Miracle Rogue, where essentially you just do Leroy Jenkins, and then you call him back, you play Leroy Jenkins again, and you call him back, and then you play Leroy Jenkins again. And you pretty much, do 20 damage in one turn, and it's crazy and aggravating, and... But I've made a priest deck, and they told me that it could not be done. And it probably still couldn't. It's proving to be very effective, though, if not a little bit slow. Most of its plays rely on Northshire Cleric, and then just pretty much buffing it to holy hell, with Power Word Shield, with Inner Fire, with Divine Spirit. Pretty much to, buffing this to unholy ends, using this along with Circle of Healing, and then getting draw power off of it, buffing Light Wells to no end, and then all of a sudden you have a 10-10. It's really about making these really low-cost minions super effective and just keeping itself very self-efficient with card draw until you get into the later game where you have one. I only run one mind control. It's a little bit cloggy if you have two, because you have pretty much two dead cards in your hand. Besides, you only really need one. And then you have cards such as Ysera, Ragnaros the Fire Lord, Prophet Velen. All three of these are pretty much the heavy hitters that will kind of end the game. And of course, a Leroy Jenkins, if you need that last 6 damage. What I like to do, if it's kind of an open shot, I will Leroy and then Faceless Manipulator, and that's an easy 12 damage. Not a lot of AoE in this deck, but hopefully you kind of play it the same way that you do sort of a ramp druid, is you use your minions to knock over other minions. Groups of minions can be an issue, but then that's when you just start rushing them down and praying. I only run one Holy Nova, which I pretty much just use for its Restore 2 health to all, which kind of makes Mad Bomber kind of a fun trick. If you have a bunch of minions, you can throw that down, does 3 damage, hopefully it actually hits your minions and does not kill them, and then you just heal it up, and then you get the card draw off of the Northshire Cleric. So, if you're looking at this curve, it's pretty much, you play a bunch of small minions, pretty much stall until the 7+, and then try to beat them down by using these smaller minions effectively. As you can see, it's a very, very high initial curve, which means you're going to be playing a lot of cards very early on in the game, which is why it's very important to keep that Northshire Cleric on board and to utilize its card draw, which makes this deck pretty dynamic and very thoughtful. It's not going to be kind of the... Miracle Rogue has this very robotic feel to it, as you just want these cards in your hand, and you'll do everything to get these cards in the hand to then just get this last combo in. This deck has a lot more thought to it, as far as I run Sunfire Protector. I do not run Defender of Argus. I prefer Sunfire Protector because, again, it's about that initial curve. Because your mid-game is essentially just going to be you getting punched in the face, and hopefully you can stop that by using Sunfire Protector. Sunfury Protector also allows it to combo very early on in the game. While this, you probably won't be comboing anything until about turn 6 or 7, and even then you can't play spells. This will allow you to, use that Ancient Warrior turn 4, or even turn 3 if you have that, if you have the coin. So, that is why I run 2 Sunfury Protectors. This pretty much is your defense. This pretty much becomes your beater. This pretty much becomes your beater. And then you just kind of troll them into oblivion. So, I call this Miracle Priest because of all the spells that you are running, and kind of the combos that you are doing, because it is actually quite a combo-heavy deck. Maybe not with Leroy Jenkins, but definitely with everything that you can do, as far as buffing and tradings and everything else. It's not really a Miracle Priest, and I've had some moderate success in it. I'm still pretty low level, but that's because of time. I am not a streamer that just can play all day. I have a job and a life, and go f*** yourselves. Alright. So we're going to try it out. Also, I called it a Miracle Priest deck because I couldn't think of a better name for it, because it's just kind of... There's not really a theme to this deck besides buffing and hitting. So maybe I should call it, you know, Do You Even Lift Priest? Or Brotastic Priest, or because it's about just getting things really buffed up. Maybe that's a better name for this deck. Buff to Oblivion. God, I need to work on those names. I do like Ripped Priest. And then spell Ripped R-I-P. Kind of like that really shitty movie R.I.P.D. that came out like last year or some garbage. I don't remember. Alright.